Hi, everybody. Welcome to the KPRC 2 Sports Houston Sports Weekly Podcast. Great to have you with us. Hope you're listening and watching. Hey, it's all about the Astros. ALCS off and running. The Astros took Game 1, 4-2 on Wednesday, and then they bounced back Thursday night at Minute Maid Park and took Game 2 by a score of 3-2. So a couple of close games against the Yankees, but the bottom line, the Astros get out of there with a W. That's what they worked hard for all season long, to get that home field advantage, and you got to protect Minute Maid Park. All right, so the focus of today's podcast is going to be Astros, and I'm going to show you a little bit of a conversation I had with a guy that I've gotten to know over the years. He's been in the New York City market at WNBC New York as a sports director for just over 25 years, nearly 40 years covering sports there in New York City and Manhattan area. His name is Bruce Beck. He is here covering the Yankees in Houston. I'll see him back in New York when I get there for this weekend's games 3 and 4 and maybe a game 5. Maybe we won't need a game 5 if the Astros can just pull off the sweep. But nonetheless, Bruce and I had a good conversation about the Astros and from his viewpoint, what he sees from the New York Yankees, a team that he covers really often as well. We had a chance to talk at Minute Maid Park. Let's listen in now to the conversation between myself and WNBC's Bruce Beck. Hi, everybody, here at Minute Maid Park as we get set to launch the ALCS. The Astros and the Yankees meet yet again. Pleasure to be joined by longtime sports director at WNBC New York, Bruce Beck. Good to see you, man.
Great to see you, Randy.
Seems like we've run into each other quite a bit since 2017, really 2015 when they had that wild card game in New York. You've been in New York for, how many years now? 40 years?
Over 40 years, 26 with WNBC.
Wow, and so you've covered this team a lot. You know this team well. You know these players well. What is the mindset coming into this series from the Yankees' perspective?
I think they've got a little bit of momentum, even though that they're kind of running on fumes following the series against the Guardians, where it went 5 tough games against the youngest team in baseball.
Yeah.
But I still believe that this Yankees team only thinks about one thing, and that's winning a world championship. But it hasn't happened since 2009. I think this team is equipped in some ways to make a charge, but I still think they're the underdog in this series. I think the Astros lineup is better.
Yeah.
I think the Astros pitching is better. But with Aaron Judge and Don Carlos Stanton, you just never know.
Absolutely. They could do damage in a hurry. I want to ask you, what was it like? They got off such a great start, and then they hit the skids a little bit before. It was right before the All-Star break, and then afterwards. Was there panic going on, like what's happening with the Yankees? What was happening?
I think there was an amazing start, one of their best starts ever. And then all of a sudden, they were 38 games over 500, and you knew it couldn't last forever.
Yeah.
And then a multitude of injuries to the bullpen and some of the starters, and all of a sudden, they couldn't hit. And they couldn't win games. I mean, there were games where they wouldn't hit for the whole ball game, and sometimes for 2 or 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
And then they kind of found their way. They went 20-9 down the stretch and regathered somewhat and gained a little bit of momentum and confidence going back into the postseason. But people were questioning, is this Yankees team going to be any good when they get to October? And are they even going to win the division? The lead went from 14 or something down to 3.5, 2.5.
Yeah,
and so
quick.
It got crazy.
Yeah. All right, so a lot of attention on this series, as you well know. This has become a nice rivalry. I did a story last night. It's since that 2015 wild card game when this journey began for the Astros, and then they met again in 2017. They beat them. They went on to win the World Series. There's some bad blood, maybe. Do you sense it's still that way from a New York perspective?
There is, as far as the fans go, as far as the media goes, but just Aaron Judge, Aaron Hicks, and Luis Severino are left from that 2017 team.
Right.
And a lot of the Astros have changed, not as many, but I think that this bad blood and Aaron Judge saying that he was sick to his stomach about what happened in 2017 with the sign stealing scandal, it still permeates, and I still think it is something that we talk about. And it adds to the rivalry. It adds to the series. The series is great because we can talk about that bad blood. But the bottom line is the Astros have won every time, including that one-game playoff at Yankee Stadium. So the Yankees have to figure out a way to beat the Astros at some point. Honestly, I think this might be the year. I know everyone is saying it's the Astros again, and I totally believe they're the better team and they're the favorite. But I have a feeling that the Yankees this year have something that will allow them to get to Game 7 and maybe win Game 7.
Well, this year, and we know the history coming in. This year alone, Astros went 5-2. I don't know how much stock I really put into that. I don't know about you, but I know the Yankees have had problems against Houston pitching this year. I think as a team they're hitting like 150, 160. But as you mentioned, to me, you could just throw that out the window when it's postseason.
Postseason baseball is phenomenal. It's my favorite sport to cover of everything. It's a favorite postseason because it's so unpredictable. Look, the Dodgers won 111 ball games and they're gone. And you've got the Mets who are out.
Braves are out.
And the Braves are out. So 3 of the 4 teams that I thought were the best teams, I put the Astros in that group and the Yankees close 4th or 5th. I think that this postseason is about one thing with the Yankees, hitting. I know we're going to talk about Garrett Cole, we're going to talk about Luis Severino, we're going to talk about Nestor Cortez, we're going to talk about Verlander and all of your great staff. But I still think you're right. If the Yankees can't hit, they can't win this series.
The same goes for the Astros because frankly, the Astros have been up and down at times hitting the ball. They've rode this pitching staff.
Right. Altuve 0 for 16 in the ALDS. That's not going to happen again. The Astros lineup is deeper, it's longer, it's better. But if Stanton and Judge can produce homers, by the way, here's a great stat. They're 28-2 in games where they both hit homers since 2018. Okay. So if they both hit homers in a game, they're likely to win. It happened against Cleveland. Exactly. Absolutely. I think if those 2 guys produce, I think that the Yankees have a chance, and they got to figure out ways to manufacture runs. They're not a bad ball club on the bases this year, and I think they can do that, but somebody else has to add to those 2 to have any shot. Well, it's going to be a lot of fun. I know Major League Baseball is excited, certainly, about this matchup. A lot of people have been wanting this. They're going to get it now. 2 here at Minute Maid. 3 there in New York if it goes to Game 5, which is, I think, personally, I'm going Astros in 6. I'm going Yankees in 7. Okay, good. That's good. I think it's going to go 6 or 7. I think it's going to be a tight series. It'll be a great series. This is what is baseball at its best, in my opinion. Absolutely, I agree. And like you say, bad blood, but good pitching, good batting, all the signs from the fans. It's such passion. This is great baseball, and in this day and age, baseball needs this. So I'm looking forward to it, Randy. I really am. These are 2 superpowers colliding right now with a trip to the World Series on the line. He is Bruce Beck, longtime sports director, WNBC in New York. Always a pleasure, man. Great to be with you, Enjoy the time in Houston. Good luck. We'll see you in New York. All right. Good luck to you guys. Here too. There you go. Thanks, man. You got it. All right, great conversation with Bruce Beck. I appreciate his time. And over the years since the Astros and the Yankees have really heated up their rivalry since 2015 when they met in the wild card, I've got a chance to run across Bruce here in town and in New York. And again, I'm looking forward to seeing him again this weekend there at Yankee Stadium. So here's the situation for the Astros, up 2-0 in this best of 7. They will address the media briefly late this morning. And it'll be Dusty Baker and Game 3 starter Lance McCullers Jr., and then they're going to hop on a plane and travel to New York, but no workout. Normally there's a light workout on the travel day after the team arrives, but that's not going to be the case for the Astros. They're just going to travel to New York, get there, and then they'll arrive at the ballpark on Saturday. And the Yankees are actually going to do the same thing. They had their Game 3 starter, Garrett Cole, the former Astros, speak last night after Game 2. They'll travel as well. No workout scheduled as of now at Yankee Stadium. Their skipper, Aaron Boone, will address the media via Zoom on Friday. So we'll see the guys again on Saturday ahead of game number 3. But again, we hope you enjoyed the podcast. Houston Sports Weekly. We do it every week here on KPRC 2+ and click2houston.com. We'll talk again next week. Have a great weekend, everybody.